Who cares that it's just a preseason scrimmage? There's always something to learn, and Cam Boozer looked like a superstar for Duke. We'll tell you why next on Locked On NBA Draft with no ceilings.
You are Locked On NBA Draft with no ceilings. Your daily podcast on the future stars of the NBA. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On NBA Draft with no ceilings. My name is Tyler Metcalf. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. Joining me, as always, is my co-host and fellow draft analyst for the last decade, Tyler Rucker. Rucker, on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad of a man is Cam Boozer?
Probably a 10, 11. At least go to 11.
Well, 1 was the best. That's weird. You hate Cam Boozer. Okay.
Yeah. No, man, he is a bad man. He looked fantastic. So I'm really pumped to talk about him in this episode and this Duke exhibition. You know, the Camera Crazies. Shout out to you guys.
Yeah, got a really fun episode. We're going to wrap things up with the best thing we saw in the basketball world recently. And segment 2, we're diving into who else popped with Duke. But we got to start with the big man on campus, Mr. Cameron Boozer, dropping a 30-piece. I know it's just a preseason scrimmage. I know it's just against UCF, but UCF has some solid transfers. They're a well-coached team. They consistently get talent throughout the years, and these guys want to win. You know, they're not traveling up to Duke to get smoked, but Cam Boozer doesn't care about their wants and desires because he was there to smoke them, dropping a 30-piece on them. Where do you want to start with Mr. Boozer?
I was there anything about his game that just shocked you or impressed you a little bit more than you were expecting, or was it just kind of like, hey, water's wet, the sky is blue, everything looks normal today?
It's like, oh, hey, look at Cam Boozer doing what Cam Boozer has done for the last 4 years in high school, and now he's doing it against college guys, and there's no change. And it was just like, God, this dude is just dominant. I was a little surprised by the 3-point volume. I thought pleasantly surprised. Good to see him being very willing and eager and confident to shoot from outside. But yeah, and it was just like, hey, shocker. One of the arguably the most decorated high school player ever is good.
He looked exactly how I expected him to. And I'm not just saying like, oh, we have a crystal ball, but we saw this in person. It looked the exact same from what we've watched on film. And I think that's why we're projecting this year that Boozer's going to be boring to fans and evaluators and scouts, because I think you're just going to be like, he does this all the time.
Yeah.
And it's not the highlight sexy machine. It is hoopers, like true hoopers are going to love Boozer. True film grinders and people that obsess over basketball are going to love Boozer. His highlights are not going to be the sexiest thing in the world, but he is the extra pass, the vision. Like there's something almost every play. That's why you said months ago, Metcalf, he's the master of the little things. And I think that's perfectly put with his game. You know, it's a lot of Tim Duncan stuff where it's just like, you're not going to probably go look up Tim Duncan highlights. I mean, I would, but
yeah.
It's probably like, you're going to start somewhere else before you get across. Okay, I'll check out Duncan. And then you're like, man, this guy's good. Boozer's the same way. You just watch the game and you're like, gosh, he's making an impact everywhere. So he looked fantastic to me. He's also, if he's 6'9", he's the tallest 6'9" person in the world.
Is it the hair? It has a little floof to it.
He might be 6'10" with the hair, but yeah, you know, he just looks so big every time I'm watching him.
Well, and just like so proportional.
Bigger. Yes.
Like there isn't like the weird lankiness that we typically get with freshmen. Yeah, and he's built like he's 25, and he plays like it with how calm and composed and physical he is. He's the big fundamental junior. There's a lot of that kind of stuff to his game. I really wanted to do like a film school on this game for him. I've been doing some of those on a bunch of these preseason games over at No Ceilings YouTube and NoCeilingsNBA.com. But I was like, man, there's a lot of good tape here, but I'm not sure that it's like enough and flashy and fun enough to like really break down. Whereas like when I did, not apologies for the drive-by here, not intended, but like when I did AJ's, you know, it's like, oh, there's some really fun, like creative, dynamic scoring stuff here, and some clear, you know, passes that he missed. And with Cam is like, oh, yep, no, he just made the right play. It's like, oh yeah, no, he just made the extra pass. It's like, oh well, he just lowered his shoulder, nice little deceleration layup there, and it's like, it was just so consistent and composed and measured. It was really, really impressive.
Was yeah, I completely agree with that. It's every time I'm trying to nitpick him, I feel like throughout the game, I'm expecting him not to do something, and all of a sudden he just like shocks me. Like I think he had a chest pass, like a skip pass into the corner, and I forget who it was. It wasn't Isaiah Evans, but it was like a beautiful, just like he realized the defense was falling apart. He just threw
yeah,
bull to what I'm talking about.
I think it was Harris.
Yeah, I think it was Harris too. Thank you. And then you just see a couple of like quick decisions, like short roll and his poster dunk to like start the game. You just like that's the funny thing about Boozer is I think everyone doesn't think he's like great of an athlete, and I'm like, there's more to being and having good athleticism than just being the Amen Thompsons that jump out of the gym. Like if you have power, if you have strength, if you can get places quickly with that size, like I think that also makes you a very good athlete. So I think he's just the full package. Like this is why I preseason have him number one on my board, on my personal board, is just because like you watch him and you're just like, he does this all the time. Why are we overthinking this?
Right.
This is what Cam Boozer does. So what I wanted to ask you is, no prospect's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about AJ and like, hey, we're overreacting to exhibitions, but AJ has stuff to work on. I think me and you have both been attacked because we said that to the AJ fans out there. We love you guys. But then Bill Self came out today and said Darren Peterson's incredible, but he's got stuff to work on.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And what I wanted to ask you is like, was there something from this? And you could say no.
Mm-hmm.
Was there something from this that you're like, Cam needs to work on this still?
Yeah, there absolutely was. Positionally on defense, I thought he was really, really good. But there were a couple times where, some of the guards were able to turn the corner on him getting downhill. And that kind of surprised me. I think they came mostly in the second half. So it's like, all right, I wonder if this is conditioning thing, not that he's out of shape or anything, but it's still an adjustment. Because going back to all of his stuff in high school, he was sliding his feet, moving really well. I don't have major concerns about that, but there were a couple times where the quicker, like the true point guards on UCF were able to turn the corner and just outrace them to their spot and get downhill. Now they didn't always score because they have a 6'9", 6'10", awesome player on, lurking behind them. So there may have been some of that where Boozer was like, all right, I'm not going to just abandon my fundamentals and, foul this guy because I know I have the size advantage, so I can kind of trail and still potentially affect the shot. But something I'm at least going to keep an eye on going forward.
Yeah. The fact that you brought that up, I feel like every single time I'm watching a Duke prospect, and usually bigs, I feel like it's always like, I'm like, are they like supposed to be doing this? Like, is this a weird defensive assignment? Because I feel like Lively to start the year, I was like, I feel like you're trying to just bait people on purpose. And
that was something Chet did all the time.
Chet too,
at Gonzaga, because they know how long they are, and it's like, all right, cool, I'm just gonna funnel you into picking up your dribble under the rim, and now you're toast. Good luck trying to get a shot off. You're not. So there may have been some of that, but it felt more like he was trying to slide his feet and just couldn't quite get to the spot.
Yeah.
It wasn't glaring or like, oh my God, this guy's a sieve on defense. It was just like, oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, when the quicker guys have the ball, they're typically going to beat the 6'10" guy to the spot. Shocker. Yeah. But I mean, like that kind of funneling them to spots, and that was something like Wemby still wasn't good at this stage, because he just still didn't understand how freakishly long he was, and he would try and slide his feet and cut guys off, and it's like, just be near them, and it's good enough. So
yeah, sorry, I might have misunderstood what you're saying, because the bait thing is always really interesting to see how quickly Chet's a great one, like how quickly guys understand how they can do that. But yeah, Boozer, I mean, it's always fun because we're like, well, we're so pumped up that there's new basketball and it's an exhibition game. Oh my gosh. And then we're like, okay, well, it was an exhibition game. So like, are we getting the full treatment? Even though I think we are a little bit. So defensively, I think if I ever have any questions with Boozer this year, it's going to be the defense. I'm not saying
and it'll be like
but
Is it an A+ grade or an A- grade that I'm giving it? That's the type of nitpicking I'm doing here.
yeah. I get you're just saying like one-on-one switching on to smaller guards type of
Right.
defense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get that
Which is
because
understandable for a 6'10", 250 guy to not be a lockdown isolation defender against a 6'2" speedster.
yeah, I would, my knees would explode thinking of the idea if he could just, he just stays in front of him all the time. The 6'2" guards, like I'd be like, my gosh, how does he move that? It's defying physics. So I really, I think he's like one of the safest of the big three, if you
Oh
want to
god,
put it
yeah.
that way, of Darren Peterson and AJ Benson. And I'm more saying this because like the upside of the other guys might be, people might say it's higher, but I still think I think he's legit with
Yeah.
with those guys. Like I really do think like he's a beast down there, and he's one of my favorite things with these type of players is like they just punch the clock and go to work. Like that's what Boozer's gonna be like. He's just gonna be like, okay, wins tip, let's go. I'm done. Let me go. Like it just feels like he's got all the tools you'd want from a potential franchise piece. Overreaction. It's first exhibition of the year, but this is what we're going to be doing all year because it's such an exciting, conversation with those three guys.
Now, Cam Boozer was the main guy who popped, but he wasn't the only one. We'll tell you who else did next. If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. I said yes to making the switch and getting premium wireless for just $15 a month. The setup is super easy. You keep your number and then you're running in minutes. Ready to say yes to saying no? Make the switch at mintmobile.com/LockedOnNBA. That's mintmobile.com/LockedOnNBA. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 per month. Limited time new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes. On unlimited plan, taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. Let's be real. Making excuses doesn't solve anything. We've all heard them before. It's just stress, I'm tired, or it happens to everyone sometimes. But when it comes to performance, sometimes your body just needs a little extra support. And that's where Rougiette comes in. Rougiette.com offers fast-acting, doctor-prescribed treatments for ED designed to help you stop making excuses and start making moves. If prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly straight to your door. Visit RUGIET.com/LockedOnNBA to get 15% off your first order. That's RUGIET.com/LockedOnNBA. And don't forget to use our code LockedOnNBA so they know that we sent you. Rougiette, stop making excuses and start making moves. All right, Rucker. This Duke team is loaded. Who else popped for you in this game?
I mean, I know you started the show talking about your love of Cam Boozer, but can we talk about your boy? You can't hold it in anymore. You're smiling like a proud father right now.
I mean, Mr. Isaiah Evans, welcome to the party. I love this dude. I did not. This is going back 2 years to Hoop Summit when we saw him there. You see him and you're like, oh my god, this guy's going to snap in half if he gets touched, and he plays so hard on defense. He plays with a big time FU attitude, and the green light is the greenest light I maybe have ever seen in terms of shooting off the catch. And he still definitely has that, but we're already seeing a lot of nuance and patience and composure and versatility to his off ball creation. And he's so much fun. The outside shot rocks, but and there was even one possession is a baseline out of bounds where they ran him off of like a stagger screen and he curled down to the corner, catches, shot fakes, hit primary defender flies past, secondary defender closes out. He dribbles to the side, changes the angle, and fires a pass to Pat Ngongba for a wide open layup. Help defender ends up making an awesome play to get the block, but the composure and the creativity and just like the patience and willingness to make a pass. It's like, oh my goodness, Isaiah Evans be still my beating heart. It was incredible.
I thought he looked great. This is exactly what you want to see from a potential returning for a sophomore. He looked confident. He obviously is going to shoot it. Like we know, we have no questions about that. But I just feel like that's a really good step from him. And we'll see with the defense and everything and how the rest of the game comes along this year. But I also think Metcalf, that's probably going to be the intrigue with him as an NBA player right away. Is like, hey, the legit size 3-and-D like potential, but he's not just a 3-and-D, it's a very deep 3-and-D. Like he has serious catch and shoot ability at 6'6", and then some good athleticism and some really good defensive potential. So I think he looked great.
Defense looked good too, and he's moving his feet. He looks stronger. He looks bigger. Obviously, and he's always going to be a leaner type of guy, but he looks a lot stronger than last year, and I'm like, he'll play with some physicality. So I thought he looked fantastic.
I agree. I thought he looked really, really good. I think defensively too, he's gonna get a little stronger and be able to hold his own. But I think there's the quickness and he's going to have some of these games where he's lighting up the box score. But I just want to see the defense really come along this year, because we always talk about like, hey, 3-and-D, they could be a 3-and-D. And it's like, well, when you find one like this that is a legit 3, and if the defense becomes legit, you're like, okay, he has those two to hang his hat on early. And the 3-point shot is a legit potential elite skill for Isaiah Evans. So
like high volume, 40 plus,
high volume, 40% deep, like pull it up, So he had a couple he pulled up, like, oh my goodness. And this is one that could really make some noise, because it's only going to take one team to be like, look, we need that. That's a fun wrinkle. Like Golden State right now would be looking to be like, oh my gosh, add that to the mix for, So I don't know. He looked great though. I thought it was like, okay, check the box and move on.
Or you throw him on Houston with, and now he's playing off of KD, Şengün, and Amen Thompson. And it's like, now you have him spotting up in the corner or, by half court instead, and just launching from 3 and providing real spacing. It's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. Get Reed Shepherd some help.
Yeah, we'll leave that for a different.
That's a hot topic right now. Come on. All right. Anyone else for you?
I thought Nick Menio looked really good too. He couldn't buy a shot. It felt like one of those days, but he's a classic example of how do you impact the game when the shot isn't falling. And he was rebounding, he was defending, he was slashing. I really liked how decisive he was, attacking off the catch and attacking those driving lanes when the ball swung to him before the defense could rotate back over. It constantly put his defender a step behind the play, and that's why he got to the line as much as he did. So the shot's gonna fall eventually, and when it does, he looked really, really fun.
I always say the off night tells a lot, and he had an off night, and I thought he looked good. I thought he looked better than what I was expecting he would start out and look like. He looked good. I also one of my biggest things is like, when you can't buy a bucket, what are you doing to impact the game? And you go look at the free throw numbers, you're like, whoa, Nicholas. All right. Cause like he built some real estate at the line. He was aggressive. He was attacking. He had a beautiful shot fake in the corner, drove baseline, got fouled. And I was like, there you go. Like, so I'm sorry. I'm just trying to figure out how the right way to phrase this. I'm not worried about Nick Mannion being good.
Yeah.
I'm more focused on like, when is it the right time for him to take the jump to the next step? Because me and you have said, like, he's going to be an NBA player.
Yeah.
It just might not be one and done. He looked better than what I thought. And that game today told me, I'm sorry, the exhibition when I was watching it, it just told me like, hey, if this is his off night, you can work with that. He can still earn minutes, but we'll wait and see, because they're gonna have a lot of pieces. So when we get to the regular season, John Shire might be like, you can't hit anything, get out. Like we got other guys that could come in, but I thought he looked much better than I was, expecting from seeing that, box score.
Yeah.
I'm guilty. Whenever the exhibitions are going on, I'm following the live stats and refreshing, and I'm like, oh, he hit a rough one. And then you watch the tape and you're like, oh, he looked way better than the box score. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, what one of the things I'm really excited to kind of monitor with people we know on NBA teams is how much are they really valuing what Jimenez immediately bringing to the table? Because I think long term, big picture, they'll love it. But it's like, all right, is this like something we like in the 20s or something we like in the top 15? Um, and top 15, he's going pro, 1000%. 20s,
Right.
it might be a little bit of a different story just based on what he could potentially get from Duke and NIL. And if then he goes back for a sophomore year, not saying he will or he should or anything like that, but then could he have a Keegan Murray-esque type of breakout year where we see him more on ball and we see the shot really take a leap and we see more of that on ball creation stuff from him. So I think he's going to be a really, really fun test case all year.
Yeah. I mean, we see these wings or forwards with size and shooting ability and smart. Like, you will, worst case scenario, the teams will be intrigued and you can get plenty of chances at the next level because teams will be just like, hey, the guy knows how to play the right way. If things fall into place, we got a really good piece here. I'm with you. I think this is just one of those like, okay, well, I would be shocked. I think teams would be drooling to get him as like a pick in the 20s, but I also think teams are like, oh, I'll go back. And then I think, you're hoping he does blow up. Like, I think you're spot on there. Like Keegan Murray, that's a good comp right there. And look at some of those guys that go back and return and all of a sudden they get paid pretty well at the NBA level. So those guys, it's a new world of college basketball now. It's like, well, if you're not that good, you might as well go back and get paid a little bit. So
it's a good problem to have.
A good problem to have.
Well, Duke looked incredible. They may be the best thing we saw this week, but we'll tell you what was right after this. When I found out SKIMS was making underwear for men, I was intrigued. I've heard so much about their quality from friends and family, so I had to give it a try. Let me tell you, it lives up to the hype. I've always had issues with underwear, fit, comfort, or just finding the right style for me. SKIMS changed all that. Their men's line offers something for everyone, from boxer briefs to classic briefs, all designed with the perfect balance of comfort and style. I tried the SKIMS Stretch 5-inch boxer brief. I try and work out as much as I can throughout the week, but I've never liked wearing that synthetic feeling workout underwear, especially when I'm done at the gym. When I tried Skim Stretch Boxer Briefs, it felt like I finally found the missing link. They gave me all the movement I need for working out without feeling like I'm walking around wearing gym clothes the rest of the day. Plus, they never lose their shape or ride up. These are perfect for my active lifestyle. They move with me, never lose their shape, and stay in place all day. Whether I'm working out or just running errands, they're the most comfortable and reliable underwear I've ever owned. Plus, the lightweight material feels amazing, almost like you're wearing nothing at all. Shop Skims Men's at skims.com. Let them know we sent you. After you place your order, select podcast in the survey and select our show in the drop-down menu that follows. All right, Rucker. Just real quick before we get to best thing we saw, also want to shout out. I thought Caden Boozer looked solid. It'll be interesting to see if he takes over that point guard role down the stretch. Maybe, maybe not. Wouldn't shock me if Shire just wants that floor general tendency coming off the bench. Darren Harris, some really fun shooting flashes. Pat Ngangba, I think there's stuff to build on. I think he's going to be one of these guys that could really break out a couple months from now. Any final thoughts on Duke?
No, I have the same agreement about like Pat. I'm being patient with. Think we're just let's get the health back. Let's get the rust off a little bit. I still like Darren Harris, man. I just want to wait. And then I did think Caden looked better than what I expected. He looked solid. I think he's going to be a really solid player for this team. He's in the same conversation as Jimenez right now for me of like, is he going to be one of those like projected late first round that you're like, why don't you just go back? You'd be a way higher pick next year. So I like what I saw, though. He looks very composed, looked good, made some good decisions.
All right. Well, now, what is the best thing in the basketball world that you saw recently? This can be pros, college, a pickup game at the park. What was it for you?
I'm going to stay with the Duke theme because I have a weird feeling you're going to go NBA. So it's okay because – well, I'll say the NBA on NBC intro, thank you so much for doing that right. It felt so good. I was just like, oh, we've never been more back. But I'm going to stay with the Duke game. Isaiah Evans has one of the greenest lights in all of college basketball. And I've never seen someone just like have a greener light on the first shot attempt. So it was like, hey, I've made this decision all year that the first exhibition game, I'm pulling it right away. But it's like Duke gets the tip off, throws it ahead to him, and he caught the ball like 8 feet beyond the 3-point line and just immediately pull. It was awesome. I loved it. So that was the best thing I saw. It just had me cracking up because I was like, he'll shoot it, and just immediately Isaiah shoots it. So it was just a good thing. So and maybe it wasn't right off the tip, but it was definitely just like first time he touched it.
He's a national treasure. I love him so much. Yeah, I kind of thought the NBC just presentation, the lead up, the halftime, the commentary, the score bug, all of it A plus. But instead, I'm going to the actual game. And it's not Houston's point guard situation. I did a little film school on that. They'll be up on No Ceilings NBA.com for No Ceilings Plus subscribers. But instead, Alperen Şengün looks incredible. Big ol' miss for me on that one. If he's going to be shooting it like that from outside all year on that volume with that, not that efficiency, but efficiently, oh my goodness. Like we're talking like first team All NBA. Lock it in.
Some of us just saw it when he was a prospect. Shout out Nathan Grubel at Draft Deeper. Some of us just saw it. Şengün, man, it's just goes.
Shout out Nick Agar Johnson.
Shout out Nick Agar Johnson. It's just we say this sometimes with prospects, and I'm a big believer of it. I think that FIBA that summer really matters to some of these players. You build some confidence, and you really start to be like, okay, I'm really starting to figure this out. Also, like, it's just more reps for some of these guys to keep grinding and get live competition. So I know you're trying to stay healthy, but also like the younger guys, you're like, get it just more live action, more competition. And I think you carry that. And we always see, I think someone had a historical point of being like, it produces in the NBA. Like guys always have a good season after that or most of the time. So Şengün's a good one. Man, that game was so fun. And I was like, oh, Houston's going to pull it out like 5 different times. And then I was just like, OKC is just a bunch of cockroaches. They won't die. They just stay there. So what an awesome game. Chet looked good too.
Absolutely. It's so good to have basketball back, at least NBA. College right around the corner. But until then, and until next week, we'll be back on Monday. He is Tyler Rucker. You can follow him at Tyler_Rucker. I'm Tyler Metcalf. You can follow me at TMetcalf11. Thank you for making Locked On NBA Draft with No Ceilings your first listen every day. For your second listen, go find Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Josh Lloyd hosts the #1 fantasy basketball podcast, giving you daily tips and helping you win your league, all while making you a smarter NBA fan. Find Locked On Fantasy Basketball on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network.